Greetings. This is the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. Today's topic is so important. It's all about how to grow and accelerate your executive coaching business. It is very topical, very timely, and really hot. And we have the great privilege today to have executive coaches who are our esteemed faculty members in our council. So we're going to talk about firsthand. They're in the they're right in the corporations. They're on the ground. They're in the corporations. They know, like I do, what's happening in the world. So we're not talking about theory here. We're going to get into the actual facts of what's happening. And again, I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. I'm an executive coach, been an executive coach since 1998. Oh my goodness, a long time. And did the Coach U executive coaching curriculum. So big shout out to Coach U, and I'm a member of the International Coaching Federation. And this is International Coaching Federation Week. So big celebration for all of us coaches. So this is an important topic, and I wanted to just quickly just give you a quick update that last week we had a 3-day challenge, which was so incredible, all about how to get in and succeed in corporate coaching. And of course, getting into corporate is an art and a science unto itself, but then what do you get in? Once you get in, what are the things that you can do? How can you corporatize and optimize your offers for corporate? And so we went in over 3 sessions to discuss it. It's a great program. It's on our YouTube channel about what are corporations buying now? What are they purchasing? What are they prioritizing? How to speak the language of corporate. So great replay. Be sure to take a look at it. And of course, to quickly run through and review, we, as always, have had incredible programs. I know that you've been to all of our programs, and be sure to check out Nancy Geary. Jeffrey Hazlett's program was fantastic, and all these are on our YouTube channel. Cindy Watson talked about how to scale up your global business. Susan K. Younger, fantastic program on compassionate connections. And in the workplace, as coaches, consultants, building communities. Great program, Susan. Thank you. And of course, Deb Creer talked about podcasting. She was at PodFest. She brought back the best of the best from PodFest. Gloria St. Martin Lowry talked about how to build allies and advocates in the corporate with our clients. So within our existing clients, how do we build our business? And of course, our esteemed faculty member, Sonia Jante, thank you very much, talking about taking the right risks, making the right choices. I think we're all dealing with that because we have so many choices to make. So be sure to take another look at Sonia's talk and her great masterclass on our YouTube channel. And of course, Christina DiGiacomo talking about AI. So we have got so many great programs in our vault that is open to the public. So if you are, of course, you're looking for a esteemed faculty, a highly competent and expert coach consultant, we want you to hire us and talk to us as coaches and consultants. So pivoting over to what we're seeing right now, we all know there is so much volatility in the world, and executives in organizations, leaders in organizations, they're searching for solutions. Hello. And we know that. And so being able to have a framework, and during one of our last programs, we talked about VUCA. Oh my gosh, great program, to have some frameworks as a coach consultant that you can go to guide and mentor and coach and consult with our corporate clients about how to deal with the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity that's happening in the world. Is this new? No, it's not. But we now have more sophisticated ways to serve and coach and consult with our clients. So we talked about that in our program. Take another look on our YouTube channel. So some stats that I want to reinforce and just bring to your attention. I was so inspired doing my research is that executive coaching is growing. It is growing globally because we know that executive coaches serve a unique role and a unique service in the organization corporation. We know that executives, whether it's the CEO, the CFO, the president, directors, executive leaders in corporate, they don't necessarily want to tell all the stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, to someone who may be wanting their job. Okay. So it's, you have a tremendous opportunity to be not only a coach, but also a trusted advisor to your executive clients. And of course, CEOs, they're looking for a high level of trusted advisor relationship. And so we're past the days when we're trying to convince organizations that executive coaching works, because it certainly does. And I know this is a long definition, but essentially, what is executive coaching? Executive coaching is, it's not necessarily coaching with teams. It's a very private, powerful relationship where you're really meeting one-on-one with the other person. I view it really as a sacred relationship where you're providing a safe, structured, but trustworthy kind of environment. And you set up the coaching agreement that we'll talk about in a little bit, is that there's a framework for what you're going to discuss. And so the framework could be, hey, it could be, you're offering just in time feedback, just in time, in the moment kinds of relationship coaching, that they're dealing with something and they just really need someone as a trusted advisor, a sounding board, someone who has experience in holding the space. And if there's one thing that I'd love for you to take away from our time together is, you as the executive coach, you hold the space. It's a very powerful position to be in, of listening, as we know, listening for what your client is saying, but also what are they not saying? What's the outcome that they're looking for, and what are the hurdles that you can help them overcome? Okay. So we also, as a corporate coach and executive coaches, we need to understand, what are they currently dealing with? What are their current competencies? What are the skills they have? Do they need more support in emotional intelligence? Do they need a strengthening of their resolve, their leadership? What is it that they need? What are the goals, and how do you clarify the relationship? So we know coaching is a whole lot of things, but what executive coaching is not, is it's not seminars, it's not workshops, and it can also not be advice, okay? Unless you set up the relationship that you are an executive coach, consultant, advisor. So setting up that relationship is absolutely, it's absolutely critical, okay? And of course, I want to share a report here that PwC did a global resilience and crisis survey at the end of last year, and they're seeing that global leaders, CEOs, leaders of organizations are really prioritizing this whole concept of organizational resilience, and not only for themselves, but they're for their leadership teams and for their entire organizations. So the stats are very, very, very strong. So I want to pause for a moment and then just kind of go through from my perspective and from our research, is what are the things that executive coaches are doing? How is it that executives are really valuing executive coaching in the workplace? What are you seeing? Why are they hiring us? And what are they needing right now? Post-pandemic, crazy volatile kind of year with, global unrest, major election in the United States. The economy is uncertain, supply chain is uncertain, all kinds of things are uncertain. Plus the workforce is in a major transition as well. So I want to pivot over to you, our esteemed faculty members, and what are you seeing that's happening in executive coaching? Why are your clients contacting you? Where do you see the need in executive coaching?
I'll step forth
Yeah.
and say it's really dealing with the diversity of people within their organization and really understanding that they have to engage with them with a level of respect. At the same time, they are holding them accountable for what they expect them to produce. And understanding that balance, if you want to call it balance, or interplay between what am I asking you to achieve that helps us fit the bottom line, and how do I ask you of that in a respectful manner so that you really understand what I need from you and I'm understanding what's affecting you, because it is that uncertainty that surrounds everyone, that whether you're asking the questions or being asked the questions, everybody's kind of feeling that unbalanced feeling in life.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, thank you. And I think that executive coaching, we have such a pivotal, awesome opportunity now because the old style of CEO executive leadership, you remember Chainsaw Al Dunlop, who led a lot of companies, that style of burn 'em and churn 'em kinds of mindset with employees, that all employees are replaceable. It's changed, and there's the new breed of executive leader that I think has a lot more on their plate, and perhaps they're not emotionally. Let's just be truthful here. Maybe they're not really ready. They don't have the capacity or the resilience. They don't have the ability to perform the way they want to. Yeah, yeah. Who else? What are your thoughts? What are you seeing around executive management?
So when I look at some of the clients I'm working with right now, I've been asked to coach what they consider their high potentials. So
Yeah.
they're leaders that have been working in that industry anywhere from 10 to 15 years and clearly have always delivered some kind of results that were
Yeah.
strong. And now it's a question of identifying like what are their next steps and
Right.
what should they be focused on in order to be able to make that happen. In one case, a company got acquired by another larger company, and there's potentially several different opportunities. So in defining the development plan, besides working on some specifics that they had for themselves, maybe stronger team building skills or whatever, it was like, so where in the organization would I be a good contributor in the future? I think the other part of coaching, just in general, is we help give them perspective to make sense of the situation they're in. Because, if they know, oh, this is happening in other companies, this is happening in other industries, and these are some of the approaches that work there, then they can feel like, okay, I've got some answers, I've got some things that might be able to be helpful.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. And being able to provide those frameworks and models for thinking and dealing with complex problems. I also think that I've noticed with my executive clients is it's so interesting. They know what they know, but they generally don't know what they don't know. And so when I step into my trusted advisor, big listener, helping them have the ahas in the shortest time possible, being able to optimize their time. It's such a trusted relationship. It is so gratifying for me, and I think that I I act, that coach consultant, trusted advisor role. It kind of morphs a bit, and so I'm kind of putting a label on today's program about executive coaching, but we move into a very powerful role with our executive clients, and it's extremely rewarding. But what I love most about it is I get to be the person who kind of sees around corners and sees to the horizon and brings them also some things that maybe they haven't thought about. And after listening deeply and hearing what they're not saying, so those kinds of things. Yeah.
And
What are you
and
all seeing? Yeah.
in relation to that, you provide a space for them to be vulnerable about something they are not comfortable being vulnerable about to the rest of their, whether it is their level C-suite people, or even to those reporting to them, and helping them to understand that exposing some of that vulnerability is part of what helps them to engage with those others in a better position to move those people past the things that they're feeling vulnerable about.
Perfect, Susan. Yes, thank you. And of course, having that relationship, is also moves to things like, their LinkedIn presence, their executive presence. We have such a privileged opportunity to move also into the advising role a bit, about if they're saying, hey, they tell us confidentially and privately that they're thinking about an exit, for instance, and they're interested in building up their thought leadership because ultimately they'd like to go into, maybe their third act in their careers, and they want to be considered a thought leader. They'd like to be like a celebrity kind of CEO. So we get this great privilege to bring in partners who can support them in having a more refined LinkedIn presence, having more executive presence in their look, their presentation, all of those things. That's the role of executive coach. It's really a powerful place. Yeah. Carol, jumping in, Sheila, jumping in. What would you like to jump in about that executive presence? How important it is, for executives even making a pivot in their careers.
I think that one of the things in presence that executives don't often consider is the importance of authenticity, of being able to connect heart to heart, because especially our young populations that are coming in as leaders are looking for purpose-driven leaders to lead them. And when they actually put that out there on LinkedIn, on their profile, and also in what they share on that platform, they absolutely win those people over. So that's something that I always strive for when I'm working with a senior leader.
Fantastic, Carol. Thank you. And then blending that, social presence with the executive presence of how they're going to translate that to their day-to-day work environment, when they do walk arounds and when they're holding organizational meetings, even, their presence as at shareholder meetings or industry events. I mean, it's so incredible. And as we mentioned earlier on, they may not want to take the advice or get the advice from someone in the organization who might want to have their job. So they want to have kind of a separate area with us as an executive coach where they can do the gritty work of the emotional part, the compassion part, the transformation part, and then kind of show up in the transformation in their work environment, kind of the before and the after kind of thing. Yeah. And so that provides a challenge that oftentimes we're the best kept secret as an executive coach because our clients don't necessarily want to shout from the mountaintops that we help them go from this to this. Yeah. Yes. Sheila, please jump in. Your thoughts about this. Anything.
Yeah, a few different thoughts. So you often hear the CEO is the loneliest person because they don't have anybody else to talk to, right? Because if they can't confide maybe in their vice presidents or their senior vice presidents on things they're dealing with. So they need a coach or a consultant that can help them, with whatever they're dealing with, because they don't always want their executive team to maybe know what their challenges are or their things that they need to work on. And then regarding something that Carol said about, the authenticity of how they're showing up is really so important. So when I work with C-level executives on, their style, it's what's appropriate for the occasion. Because you don't want to be so overly dressed and not relatable to your team. I mean, you have to be obviously a step or two above what they're wearing and be put together, but you can't be so far apart that it's not even relatable, that you're not even approachable. So we want to make sure that they stay approachable in the workplace, right, with their team. But if they are meeting with stakeholders, if they're visiting with investors, if they're dealing with, any type of money or any type of, yeah, financial information, right? They have to be more, it requires them to be more dressed up. Right, because especially if you're dealing with large amounts of money or investors, right, you're being taken seriously. So there's different looks, right, to that, and there's different color psychology messages. So that's what I talk to them about. It's like so what is the message for the day? And so what does that look like in terms of your attire for that day? And especially that subliminal message of color, I don't think people appreciate that as much as they could. So if you want somebody to open up to you, we're gonna probably put you in a more of a neutral brown because that's very down to earth, right? And that's relatable to people. So different things like that.
Fantastic. Thank you. So you can see we're all executive coaches here. We have a different flavor of what we're doing, and each of us has a different role that we can play. And so, great abundance here. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I thought I'd go into just quickly some use cases about what I'm seeing in executive coaching. And this is kind of a reiteration of everything that we talked about, but executives are also, as we know, they're looking for building their resilience, their agility. They're also building, they know that executive coaching gives them another level of trust and safety. They need to convey that to their employees as well, of course. And Susan, as you were mentioning too, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and that coaching helps them have more empathy and compassion. All of the emotional intelligence things. I don't think that the IQ part of a CEO and executives part is necessarily the thing that is going to get them to the next level, or build the corporation, build the teams, all that. It's the EQ part of it that we really can't, and the presentation and the tactical parts of it that we can really serve a real important role. And of course, communication, presence, and also the big negotiation. This is something that's under discussed, but I wanted to bring it up here today, is that it's how do we guide and advise them and coach them into negotiating with difficult situations, and not have it be like a bull in a china shop, but to be able to add all of these things together to be a better negotiator. And, as we all know, coaching is coaching. It's not necessarily when you coach the whole of the person. Yes, you get into life coaching. Hello, because it's coaching the whole of the person. And so, yes, it's perhaps business related discussions, issues, but it's also life and personal kinds of things too. And I know that there are several of my colleagues who are also doing something very, very sacred around spiritual CEO coaching, spiritual executive coaching, helping and guiding and coaching and really being a trusted advisor for executives who are looking for more spiritual depth, more spiritual fulfillment in the work that they're doing. So, ladies, it's time. We got to go there. Okay. So, I don't know that if it's appropriate to brand yourself as a spiritual coach. That's up to you. But certainly, spiritual coaching the whole of the person is so critical. Okay. So, business and life and purpose and next steps and all kinds of beautiful things. That's why this is such a lovely and very sacred relationship. So, that, coaching is certainly, it's now a standard. That organizations are adopting it left and right. And these are just some of the things that CEO executive coaching, they're looking to accomplish from a business perspective. They're getting, as you all know, they have multiple priorities. They've got to be able to shift. They've got to develop senior team for ascension and succession planning. They've got to build great cultures, build a bench for a succession plan, and as I mentioned before, coaching the whole of the person. Okay. So, being an executive branding expert, an executive purpose coach, an executive diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging coach, being an executive celebrity brand coach, that's building IP and thought leadership. There's so many different flavors of what you can do as an executive coach. And so I find that incredibly exciting. Okay. So as we complete our time together, thank you. Thank you. It's so powerful. And I wanted to kind of get into some of the do's and don'ts very quickly that, what you're seeing as a do and a don't, but some things that I want to do just, take at a very high level is how we're successful as an executive coach is, of course, we're brought into the environment through a relationship, through someone that we know would like to hire us or have a discussion with us as a coach trusted advisor. So, as you know, as an executive coach or any kind of coach, we've got to always set the coaching agreement. And the coaching agreement starts with your first contact with the person whom you're going to coach. It could also be with someone who's bringing you into the corporation or someone that you meet through LinkedIn, through relationships, you build a relationship with them, and then you have a separate conversation about what's happening with them, what would they like to happen with them, and how can we work better together for mutual benefit. So set that coaching relationship, and also I think always be the coach. You know how to do this. You step into your powerful role and you clear what's in the way of that beforehand. And you then put your heart, mind, soul, listening ears, everything, your life force energy in support of this particular beautiful human being that's sitting across from you or on the phone with you or on Zoom. So they can feel it, your tremendous life force energy in support of them. And again, we have appropriate boundaries, of course, but in service to them, this is such a powerful relationship. It is so incredible for them and for you. So with the coaching relationship, step into the coach. You know what to do. You have great coaching skills. Be the coach. And of course, in the setting the agreement, set milestones, expectations, and get the relationship going. That what do they want out of this relationship? And sometimes, as you know, it's not just they want to have, you know, 2 60-minute calls a month. The coaching agreement is maybe they want to engage you for some just-in-time coaching. Maybe they've got some major things going on with the transition in the company. Maybe the company's being bought. Maybe they're, acquiring new companies. They would like to have you as their trusted advisor on call for a certain period of time. So create that relationship, create the funds and the coaching agreement, the financial part of it to compensate for that as well. But of course, your executive presence, you've got to bring your executive presence to the game here. They're expecting it, right? That doesn't mean you leave your heart and your soul and your listening at the door, but bring in that professionalism, that highly, highly leaning in to what they're saying and knowing when to lean out as well. Okay. And of course, we know in executive coaching, confidentiality is critical. It's the basis of the relationship. Okay. So, with that, what are you seeing in your success as a coaching relationship? What are you also seeing as some of the do's, but also some of the don'ts? And then complete our time. What are you seeing makes your relationship, your executive coaching relationships work? And what are some don'ts for sure?
Yeah, so I'm seeing like setting that expectation right at the beginning. You know how you said, is it the just-in-time coaching you want? Do you want 2 calls a month? What is that for you and how can that be, successful for you? And so setting that up beforehand is so critical. I've fallen into the trap previously where I'm like, yeah, you can, have me on, for 6 months, and then the schedule gets a little wonky with them because then they, it's this expectations are not set appropriately at the beginning. So I think that's really critical.
Yeah, the communication of the agreement is really important. And I think also what I'm hearing, Sheila, is the flexibility to change the agreement if we need to. So yeah, yes, yeah. Sonia, you're leaning in, I see, and you have a lot of experience as an executive coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would say that, probably the best thing there that one can show is that they can trust you and how they can build trust. Because I would say that um, we have a trust crisis going on right now in institutions and organizations. And a lot of it has to do because people are being guarded about what they can say or what they can approach. And it creates boundaries that don't necessarily need to be there. And so I think that helping them get to the place where they can feel comfortable about how they establish trust, how they grow that trust, and that it's safe to have the conversation. I always say, you know, people can say you're an axe murderer, but you're not an axe murderer until I say you're an axe murderer. So
Right.
we will prove it with appropriate evidence and all that.
Completely.
But they know that I'm joking in that regard. But it's about being able, because oftentimes they might feel like that the coaching is something that's unexpected or it's a challenge, and why am I having to participate in this? And you want to have that so that you can have them pivot and realize they can look forward to it because
Yes.
it is an actual source of knowledge and it's a source of candor.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And don't we bring that soft landing and or the rigor, both at the same time that they're looking for. We're not kids, and so executive coaching is pretty hard for folks who've not been in life for a while or been in business for a while. We've seen a lot and we know a lot, and we have great skills that corporations and executives are really looking for. And so that trusted advisory place is just so fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sonia. Yeah. Yeah. Great. What are some don'ts that you're seeing? I mean, we flipping around what to do, but don't ever break the trust, right? Yeah. And what I'm also noticing is I really love when executives or anyone, their corporation, their organization may hire us to do coaching, but there's something really even powerful too about the executive paying for making the investment in themselves to pay for us separately. So we are literally away from the corporation. We are in a separate situation and we can be completely unencumbered. We don't need to do any sort of reporting back to HR, the CLO, those type of folks. We can have a very sacred relationship over here in a container. And when executives make that investment, it's a different deal, there. And I like that very much. That's been a lot of my experience too. Yeah. Any other do's, don'ts that you wanted to bring up? Yeah. Thank you. Um, it's pretty much the same as a general coaching agreement, the ethics and the confidentiality and the expectation setting the container and checking back, obviously for feedback and results. And so, it's but it's a different game because they're playing a different game. And so we as coaches, we have the great opportunity to rise to the occasion and serve executive coaching clients. So with that, thank you. Let's wrap up and great opportunity. And, when the world is crazy, we can be the lighthouse. And that's part of the gift we have as executive coaches, consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders, to be that lighthouse for people, for organizations in the world. And so obviously today is an opportunity for you to fill back up your cup. That's what we want to do, is to have you have a place within our council to come back every week on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern to be able to fill your cup up with some new ideas, new thoughts, new ways to approach your business and your life to be an even stronger coach. And so thank you. I'm just curious as we complete, we'll wrap up here in a moment, just wondering what your biggest takeaway is from our time together. Because, I like to put a little bookend on things. And this is obviously a great way to end an executive coaching session too, is let's just put a little bow on things. And so, as you know, we'll do a wrap up in a second. We're having a 31-day challenge. Oh my goodness, in our council on our Facebook page. And it's going great. Every day there's a different prompt to get out and be more visible because as you know, people don't know about you. They can't hire you, they can't connect with you, and they can't partner with you. So being visible is incredible. And of course, every Saturday morning, the Women's Success Circle. Oh my goodness, we have a different topic. We are now on 102. This Saturday will be our 102nd consecutive Saturday, and it's so fantastic. So come join us. 27 minutes, a really powerful, powerful program. And of course, next Thursday, actually in 2 Thursdays, next Thursday is our esteemed faculty member Quick Connect, but the following Thursday, Christina DiGiacomo is talking about what are the tools we need to know about and use in AI so we can be a more effective advisor to our clients. So we're playing a different game. Yes, we're using AI for ourselves and our productivity, but we're raising the stakes, ladies, to go up and be able to consult and be able to talk confidently and follow through on what's AI doing for these particular areas. So guess what? We get to be even more valuable to our client base. Okay. A whole different game. Christina's going to talk more about that. And of course, come join our council. You're watching us on our YouTube channel. We cannot wait to promote you, showcase you, and highlight you. And we've got a great YouTube channel with, I think, 144 videos that we're cross-referencing now with C-Suite Network. And let's set up a Calendly call to talk more about this. Okay. So curious, what's your biggest takeaway? What's your final words of wisdom, ladies, about executive coaching? Jump
From
in.
Sheila, I learned about the subtle messages that color is sending out.
Great.
Thank
you.
I'm wondering what color or what message I'm sending with my primary colors here. So one of the things that I recognize is I need to have a coaching agreement, which I never have had because my coaching is so limited in time. But obviously, I'm missing a little opportunity.
Not only a coaching agreement, but a coaching questionnaire. If you haven't filled out this questionnaire, I'll forward to you what I've got. It's
that
very
would be great.
thorough and it allows you to really get a sense. In them answering it, they give you a lot that you can actually use in your first couple of coaching sessions.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yes, great. Thank you. Yeah, powerful intake and powerful structure for the call. Yeah, really great. Thank you very much. Great, good. Sheila, takeaways.
Yeah, well, I love how Sonia reminded us of the trust, right? The trust factor, then how people are feeling about trust currently in these times, and how important that is for us to establish that and that they know that they can trust us. And how are we showing them that they can trust us? To be more mindful of that.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And to build their trust factor with others as well, we can help them build that strength. So thank you. Good. Well, thank you so much. What a great program. As always, have a beautiful day and let's go out and coach up the world. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.